equation that forms a line?
Yes. But what does it look like when you see it?
Yeah, like how do you?
Okay. There's two questions here.
I know what it looks like when it's standard form, but I don't know what
Here.
it looks like when it's just a linear equation.
Okay, let's talk about what a linear equation is real quickly. Okay. How do we know that it's a linear equation? Okay, so there's a couple things that we need to look for. First of all, the word equation means it has to have an equal sign somewhere. Okay? Equation has to have an equal sign. What else do we need to know about it being linear? Okay, it could have like a 3x, it could have a 1/2 y, it could be equal to 8. So what are some, this is just one example of a linear equation. So the question is, what makes this linear? Well, first of all, even though we don't write it, the exponent for x and y are to the first. Okay, so we say that these have a degree of 1. So that means non-linear equations could have like an x squared, like maybe y equals x squared plus 4, or y squared plus x to the third equals 7. These are not linear equations because they have a power. Okay, so anything that has an exponent with a variable, nonlinear. Another thing is that you see how x and y are separated by a plus sign? So another example would be, what if x and y are multiplied together? So x times y equals 10. That's not allowed. Okay? X and y have to be separated by a plus or a minus sign. Okay? Good so far? The other thing, I can't have a variable in the denominator. So you see how I have x in the bottom here?
Yes.
We can't have that. We can have a fraction, we just can't have the variable in the bottom. So it's almost easier to look at what's nonlinear, okay, and kind of rule out what makes it. So what I would do on the practice quiz here, and actually we'll do that with. Yeah, I'll post it on Haiku.
Okay, great.
Okay, there's a, you have a page that's for screencast. So
Why is there like two guesses?
why is there what?
Like why is there like two?
Two
We
what?
can't hear you.
There's two yeses and two no's. And
Oh, well, we're going to go through. I just talked about what makes it linear. Okay, so let's just go through them and look at which ones are linear and which ones are not linear. So let's look at number 1. Do we have x and y to just the first power? Yeah, there's no exponents, right? There's no x squared or y to the third or anything.
Yes.
Are they separated by a plus or a minus sign?
Yes.
Yes. So this is linear. I'll worry about B in a minute. Okay, let's just go through them and answer the first yes, no question. Take a look at number 2.
No.
No, what makes it not linear? Okay, so because of the x squared, that means I don't even have to worry about answering B and C. If the first part is no, then I don't need to worry about putting it in standard form. It can't be put in standard form because it's not a linear equation. Okay, look at the next one. What do you think?
No. There's fractions.
Ah, there's fractions, but remember how I said before?
It's okay.
Can I have,
Convert it.
look here, I put a fraction in on purpose. See, 1/2 in front, but that's okay. That is a linear equation, but this one is not because it had the variable in the bottom. So tell me again.
So it's a yes.
Are you going with that because I?
No, because
Does it make
makes
sense?
now. No,
So-
I'm saying it because that was my first guess.
Right. So this one is yes because the 2 and the 4 are in the denominator. That's okay to have a number in the denominator. I just can't have a letter. Can't have a variable. Okay, look at the next one. Oh, well, I kind of give away number 4.
Are we still in the middle of a podcast right now?
We're still recording.
No. Fours no.
No, why not? Because there is a y in the bottom. So that means for parts B and C here, I don't even need to answer them, so I just kind of cross that out. We're just answering the first part, and now we'll go back and we'll address. What do you think for number 5?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, now, once we know it is a linear equation, we want to put it in standard form. Okay? Now, we want to answer the next question and figure out, is it in standard form? So standard form looks like this. It has ax plus by equals c. What do we know about a, b, and c? They cannot be fractions. They cannot be decimals. They have to be integers. Remember what integers are? Okay, so no fractions, no decimals, and also a, just by the way, a must be positive. Okay, so let's look through. For number 1, is number 1 in standard form? Does it go ax then by equals c? Is it in the right order? No. Can I put it in the right order?
Yeah.
Okay, so what do I need to do? I need to rearrange the order for x and y. Is it in ax plus by equals c? Does it look like this, where a, b, and c are integers? No.
No.
So what I need to do, I'm going to move the 3 over. That's the constant. That's what we call c. So I have 4y minus 2x equals negative 3. Now, some of you might have done this in a different order, and that's fine. That's fine, as long as we have the same end result. They should all look the same. So now, what do we want to do? It has to go ax plus by. So 4y minus 2x. Tommy, what do you think?
Plus 2x.
Well, we want to switch these around. Hold on. No.
But you don't-
You
you're
do
not
want to make it a plus.
Yeah.
So what could we do to make that a positive 2x, and we want to switch it around? Should we do it? Well, let's do it step by step. What were you going to suggest, G?
Oh, to make it positive, I was gonna say divide by 1.
Negative 1.
That's what I meant.
So if you take everything here, so you want to divide by negative 1 first, you can multiply everything by negative 1 or divide everything by negative 1. It doesn't matter. So let's just say we'll divide everything by negative 1. Because remember, we need to make the minus 2x into a positive 2x. See where I wrote here? A must be positive. That first one. So we get a negative 4y plus 2x equals negative 3. Okay, now we'll switch it. And what's it look like when we switch that? 2x minus 4y.
Because it needs to be in that order.
It needs to be in order. It has to go x, then y, then the constant term. Other questions there? So we had to do a number of different things here. It might not just be so simple as just switching around the x and the y. We might have to multiply by negative, okay, or subtract things to the other side. Questions on number 1?
Yeah, it's complicated. Like, I don't get it. I just don't understand, like, how you did all.
What about, I thought you can't divide or multiply different variables.
X and y are not multiplied. Are they? Are x and y separated by a plus or a minus sign?
Yes.
Yeah, subtraction sign. Bernie?
Why can't you just switch that? Why do we have to do it?
Okay, so some of you might have just switched from the very you're talking about like right here?
No.
Did you just switch it here?
No, like later, like at the very end. Why can't you just like switch them instead of?
Oh, you know what? I just realized I made a mistake here. This is supposed to be a positive 3. Nobody caught that.
I was confused. I was like,
Sorry,
oh,
that's supposed to, yeah, because negative 3 divided by negative 1. So when you say switch them, you're talking about switch the negative signs?
No, the 4y minus like
2x.
2x. Like, what did you do to switch? Like
Well, you could switch them here. If you switch it from here, it would be a negative 2x plus a 4y equals negative 3.
And we don't want the
So,
negative.
which is fine, it's fine, but I gotta make this positive. So I have to multiply or divide everything by negative 1. And you would still get, that's why I said some people might do things in a little bit different order. And it's fine. You need to make sure that you get the same result, that the first one always has to be positive. Yeah.
I think after when we take the test, like, are we allowed to make a little note card and stuff or no?
What?
I,
So those are no cards?
We have to make it ourselves.
And you're gonna use them in the test?
Yeah.
What the heck is that?
I'll give you the formula.
Oh, you will?
Yeah, I'll give you the ax plus by equals c.
Are we gonna have to do like?
You have it for the final and
Wait,
stuff.
so they, alright.
Yeah. Okay. Number 2. So as number 2, I said this has an
There's
x
no-
squared. We don't have to go any further. Okay. If the first answer is no, then we're finished. Okay. Take a look at number 3. So number 3, well, x and y are separated by a minus sign. They're in the right order. And x is positive. The only problem we have is that there are fractions. So we want to think about how can we get rid of the fractions here. We have a 2 in the denominator and a 4 in the denominator. So you can multiply both sides by what to get rid of the
2.
fraction?
The opposite.
Well, you can multiply by 2, but that's not going to get rid of the 4.
Oh, you multiply by 1.
Well, if we multiply by
Zero.
1, it's not going to really change anything here.
Divide by 2.
No, she's saying
Oh, you multiply by 0.
Okay, I'm going to give you a hint. We're going to multiply. Do you remember the least common denominator?
Not at all.
Okay, if you have a 2 and you have a 4, the least common denominator will be 4. Think about like if you have to find a common denominator when adding fractions.
Oh, yeah.
So if I multiply both sides by 4, it will get rid of all of our fractions. So let's look. Multiply 4. What's 4 times 1/2?
2.
2x. And 4 times a minus 3 will give us a negative 12y. Well, what's 4 times 1/4? Just 1.
4 times 1.
Because the 4 is will cancel each other out, and that's all we had to do there. So this one, we didn't have to rearrange the order. We didn't have to worry about the negative sign. We just had to get rid of the fraction. Okay? Maybe when we're done with this, we'll do some more practice, but maybe on the little whiteboards, we could do some practice problems. Okay, number 4, we said that one was no, okay, because the first part had a y in the denominator. So let's look at number 5. Is this one in standard form? Oh, you know what? I'm sorry, I forgot to write no here. For 3. 3b was no, because we had a fraction. Number 5, is this in standard form?
No.
No. What's the problem with this one?
The 5x needs to be in front of the 4y.
Okay, so the 5x needs to be in front of the 4y. So how can we move it over there?
You cannot subtract because.
Well, we could subtract.
You add 8, right?
Well, here, guys, we have a choice.
Oh, multiply.
We can move the 5x over to this side by subtracting it, but then we have to deal with the negative. Or we can move the 4y over here, but then we also have to move the 8. So do we want to move 2 things or move 1 and multiply by negative 1?
1.
All right, so that means I'm going to subtract 5x from both sides. Now I'm going to put the 5x in front of the 4y, so just keep in mind that that's a positive 4y, right? So I have a negative 5x plus 4y equals a negative 8. Now we're almost done because we have x and y, right, on the same side. Now we just need to do what?
Divide by negative 1.
Okay, so I'm going to put negative 1 underneath everything. So what do we end up with? Well, we get, Tommy?
5x plus 4y equals 8.
5x and
Almost.
Yeah.
Just forgot the minus sign because a positive 4y divided by negative 1, so we get
Wait, how did you get minus?
a positive divided by a negative is negative. That's how we got the minus sign here. Okay, any questions there? I think if we have time, we'll do some more practice with those. Ready?
Ooh, can I do the next one on the thingy myself?
What's that?
Like 3,
On number 3?
yeah.
So, do you understand how we know it's a linear equation for number 3? Because it has x and y, they're separate, it doesn't have an exponent, but it has fractions. It has 1/2 and a 1/4. So how do you get rid of a fraction? You multiply by the reciprocal. Okay. Now I can multiply both sides by 2, but 2 times 1/4 would still leave us with a 1/2. We'd still have a fraction left over. So basically what I do is I look at the 1/2 and the 1/4, and I think of these two. What is the common denominator? Do you remember common denominator?
Yeah.
So like if I were going to add 1/2 and 1/4, I'd make them both have a denominator of 4. So that kind of tells me that that's what I need to multiply by to get rid of the fraction.
So what if there was 1 over 3x?
Okay, if it was 1/3 and 1/4, think about that. If I had 1/3 and 1/4,
That's 12.
and I wanted to add these together, what would be my least common denominator?
12.
12. What if I had 1/3 and 1/9? What would be my least common denominator? 9. So whatever would be your least common denominator, that's what you have to multiply both sides by. Okay. Let's take a look at the next page. Oh, and you know what? Forget this part where it says into the 0. Okay, so Jade is going to help us out with number 6. Let's turn the page. We want to find the x and the y intercepts, and then we want to graph it. So do you remember how we find the x-intercept? We have to make which one equal to 0? This is for this one. To find the x-intercept, we let y equal 0. And then plug 0 in. Oh, you're doing the y-intercept first? That's fine. So Jade has the y-intercept, so she's going to let x equal 0.
I just kind of go in order of which one it goes
That's
first.
Fine. That's fine. It doesn't matter. As long as you write them in for the same part. Okay, so she's finding the y-intercept first. So 4 times 0 plus y equals -8. So we just get y equals -8. So that's your y-intercept. But write it 0, -8, like that. Because it's a point. So you want to remember that that's the coordinate. Those are the coordinates for a particular point. And then we want to find the x-intercept. So now she's going to make the y equal to 0. So 4x plus 0 equals -8. So 4x equals -8. Divide by 4, and we get x is -2. So then the point that we're going to write in here,
0, -2.
other way around, so switch it, -2, -2 comma 0.
Should I write it in the actual thing? Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll write it in the
Yeah,
actual
go ahead, you write it in. All right, so it doesn't get confusing. Okay, now we want to put these 2 points on our graph. So go ahead on your graph. Let me get, who needs, does anybody need a ruler?
Oh, that'd be great.
Some people like to make nice straight lines, some people don't care.
I would love this trip. Thank you.
Ow.
Bernice, do you need a ruler? That would be -1. But we want to
Huh?
go.
Not down
We
8.
want to go to -2. Tell me if you need a ruler.
That,
Yeah, one moment. Thank you so much.
Okay, so.
how do I make a straight line?
Like,
How do I
Best
like?
you can. Here, I mean, you could try to line it up with the ruler.
No.
But it's gonna be hard. I just try to it's hard.
It's so hard.
That's hard to do on there. Okay.
Yeah, you can't line it up on there?
It's no because of the. Well, she might be able to, but it's off.
You can,
Where the
isn't there like
pen?
an option where you can just push a line? Sorry, like, remember how many people had those boards?
Oops, it's on eraser. Here, I'll let you you line it up?
Oh,
Oh,
it
did it-
erased. This case of.
Hey, I didn't say it was easy to write with that.
I-
-2, 0, and 0, -8. It's easier just to, you guys get it, right? The line goes through the 2 points. It's hard to do on the tablet. So,
Gosh dang it.
it's okay. We got it.
Ta-da!
Yay.
Even though that was horrible, that's
No, it's fine.
okay. Thank you, Miss Kasich.
Thank you. All right, next one. You want to try this one on your own?
Can I take a shot?
Go ahead and try it on your own first. I'm going to do a quick pause here to give you guys some time. You need your paper? Or you did it?
I did it.
We did.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. All right, so Tommy is doing number 7. We're going to make x equal to 0. Oh, Tommy, just real fast, erase the y. 'Cause
Huh?
remember, you're just
Oh,
dividing
okay.
by the -2.
But like I know, but like I just leave it out sometimes. All right, sure, whatever. I'll take it out.
Just, I know.
All right,
I'm
I'll
being
just-
picky. There we go. There we go. No, it's okay. That y's fine.
Oh, okay.
It was just when you divide, that y should stay there.
Down. There you go.
Yeah. You're just dividing by the -2. So we get 0,
All right, so 0.
negative
-3.
3. Good. There's your y-intercept.
And then,
Did everybody get that?
Good job.
6
Thanks,
divided
guys.
by -2. Good.
No, take that out. Sorry, force
Good
habit.
job for stopping yourself.
Make x equal to 0. But you have a coefficient. What happened to the -2 that was in
We're
the
keeping 0 from.
Oh, that's how you do it, bro.
Okay. So here, Tommy, right over here. Right in your x-intercept is -2, 0, and 0, -3 for the y-intercept. And then go ahead and graph it.
Oh no. All right, there you
Yeah. So now you, right, you want to get rid of the x, so now divide both sides.
go. All right, 2, 0.
0, -3. Oh, oh, maybe you just wrote them in different spots.
0, -3.
Good. So 2, 0, 0, -3. And then we're just going to draw the line connecting them.
Here we go.
Oh, you know what?
No, it goes to the left, right? Up and then
No, you're right. So hold on.
I'm right?
Guys, this should be -3. That's what happened. That should be negative. Looks like you had a negative. You crossed it up here. Was that-
Good job, Tommy Doll.
Yeah,
My
you
dad
guys
was
need to make
talking about
sure.
it at dinner.
Me?
Yeah.
Why?
Because like he met your mom, like remember at the end of the retreat when we were our parents parked next to each other?
Yeah.
He's like, who's an Israeli woman? I was like, oh, Tommy Tall's not looks really slim like at the retreat. And I was like, oh my god, I love Tommy Tall. He goes, oh my god.
So I'm going to finish up this one. Let me finish up number 8. We have 1 minute here. I know it's not a lot of time, but I'm going to make x equal to 0. Some people were confused about the fraction, so let me just show you the fraction. There's nothing to be concerned about. How do we get rid of a fraction? I just talked about this. We multiply by the reciprocal, so that's going to be multiplying by 2. So we get y equals 6. So that's going to be our y-intercept. And then for the other part, well, that makes it easy because 1/2 times 0 is just 0. So we just, oops, that's supposed to be a 3. We get x equals
Back in the middle.
3, 0. So 3, 0, 0, 6, and then connect them.
What's up with these angles today?
Right?